Hi, is anyone there? Hello? I might be a couple seconds early. I'm trying to pull myself up on my own feed. Let's see if I can do this. Ah, there I am. I can see myself, so we must be right live. Hello. Might be a couple seconds early. I'm trying to pull myself up on my own feed. Oh no. Hello, is anyone there? Hello. If you're there, if anyone is on, please say hi. And if I don't know you, where you're from, everyone's welcome to come in on their business pages. We'll just wait a couple of seconds. I don't think I'm getting, I can't see any feed yet. I don't know. This is my first time going live, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. So far, I don't see anyone coming up on my my tablet, so hopefully if you're making comments that they'll pop up in a minute. There's a little bit of a delay between the live and what I'm seeing on my tablet. I know I didn't give anybody much notice because I had to just work up the nerve and just say, I'm going to do it and get it done. So that's what I did. In case I don't know you or you don't know who I am, my name's Joy. My business is Treasures of Joy, and I make mixed media crafts and jewelry. My videos will be about mixed media crafts and crafting in general. I don't think that the jewelry's that interesting to watch somebody try to put a little thing through a hole, but anyway, it's like sewing. I still haven't seen anything come up. Does anybody know? I mean, well, I guess you couldn't tell me because I wouldn't see it anyway. Comments. Just write a comment in the thing so I can see if you're here, please. They aren't coming up on my feed. So, if you're here, thank you for joining me. My name's Joy, and I'm with Treasures of Joy. Tonight, we're going to make a little riser. And this is a piece of wood. I already painted it brown, front and back, sides, etc. And we're going to use these little pumpkins. these come in a package of 5 from Dollar Tree, and they look like this. I believe these are from Dollar Tree. And so I left the skewers in them to paint them. It's much easier that way. And then I'm going to take them, well, we're going to paint them white, so I might as well leave them before we do that. Let me try again to see if I can get... Hey, Mike. I can see you're on here. Thanks for joining me. I don't see it on my clipboard, but do I have sound? Can you hear me? Michael, can you hear me? All right, great. Okay. Thank you. Yes, okay. There's quite a delay on this from what I'm seeing on my tablet in the live, in your responses. We're going to craft a riser tonight using this piece of wood I got from Dollar Tree. It's a little plaque. It has little routed edges. I sanded it and I painted it with Java. And these are the pumpkins. This is the package they came in. And I pulled the stems off, left them on the skewers to paint them brown. That's the undercolor on all of this. If you're just tuning in, my name's Joy, and I'm from Treasures of Joy. Yeah, I know, it's delayed. Yeah. So I don't need these. Okay, we're also, this is the package of napkins I used a napkin from. Also from Dollar Tree. So I spent, I guess, $3.75 on the materials for this. I did cut this piece from the napkin with scissors. Hey Pam, how are you? Are you still having great weather? Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm getting more people coming on, so it's nice to meet you, Pam. Pam sent me a couple boxes of wood shapes, so I'm excited to use those. Most of them are going to be Christmas trees, so we'll get lots of those. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. I was saying we're going to make a riser similar to the one that she bought from me, actually. But it's smaller, much smaller. And I'm using these little pumpkins here. And I'm not putting a Mackenzie Childs napkin on it. Okay, so what I want to do with this is a chippy method. And when you do that, when I do it, I use a piece of wax, which is really, it comes from a tea light from Dollar Tree, of course. They're very cheap and they're real soft. You want to use a real soft candle wax on this. And I just start putting wax on where I want to chip the wood. Now, I'm not going to put any where I'm going to put this little, this is the little piece I cut from the napkin we're going to use. I'm going to try not to chippy underneath that so it shows up better. And Pam, these are the napkins. And they came from Dollar Tree. I need to put a little bit of wax on the sides. Okay. So after you put wax here and there on your piece of wood, you can paint it. So I'm going to use Cottage White. And I did open this prior to the live. So we may put 2 coats on it because I did thin this paint down some. It was extra thick. So we'll just start painting. I was going to have a glass of wine, but I couldn't get the cork off. My corkscrew thing wasn't working. I need to get more air for it, I guess. So I'm just drinking a Coca-Cola this tonight. Nothing for courage. Hi, Country Family Roots. Sandra, hi. I'm Joy. How are you? And where are you from? Oh, thank you so much for sharing that out. I did do some of the painting before we did this. We're making a riser tonight, and we're using Dollar Tree products to do it. So I have a Dollar Tree plaque here, and we're going to be using a Dollar Tree napkin on it. And I used a Dollar Tree candle light to, a tea light to wax up the brown part for doing a chippy finish. Now, these Dollar Tree wood pieces are not in very good shape when you get them. Most of them have a lot of sanding you have to do, but to get a sort of smooth finish. I know some of us don't care that much about whether it is or not, but oh, you can't see my craft. Okay, thanks. Let me put the phone down some. I'd rather you saw it than me anyway. Okay. Is that better? So I'm just painting the whole surface with the white. Unfortunately, we are going to have to watch a little bit of paint dry. I couldn't help it if I showed you how to chip it. I can't read that. Today, yeah, Corkscrews. Well, you know what? I tried 3 of them, and they were all 3 broken. So I guess I wasn't meant to drink any wine for tonight. Okay, let's try this real quick. So where are you from, Sandra? Okay. Now we're going to need a second coat because I did thin this down and it's not as thick as it usually is. So we'll do this. Second coat goes much quicker. I hope you can see what I'm doing. What's everyone's weather like? I think it was 93 here. I went out about 6:30 and trimmed some vines. They were about to take over the walkway, but it was still really hot. Normally I use a bigger brush too. It's really soaking into the wood. You're in Arizona. I'm in Florida, Central Florida. I bet you're hotter than we are. You're not still in North Carolina, Michael. I know it's not snowing here. The man on here is my brother. I didn't let my kids know I was going live unless they saw the post. If you're new and just joining us, my name's Joy, and this is Treasures of Joy. Just say hi and let me know where you're from. If you're on your business page, that's great. And tell me your first name, where you're from. Okay, that's probably good enough. So this time, when I do my chipping, I'm going to do I'm going to use a 5-in-1 scraping tool. This also came from the Dollar Tree. So we'll just start pushing this through. And where I applied the wax, the paint should chip. So it seems to be doing a pretty good job of that right now. This is the area I didn't put wax in because that's where the napkin's going. So that's good. I usually use tape when I do this method, but I was really low on packaging tape, so I decided I would just do this scrape method, which is more messy and takes a lot more effort. If you do the chipping method and you're using packing tape, you don't dry the paint all the way. Dry it till it's real tacky, and smooth the tape out over it. And I usually use a like something you would put a transfer down with to get the tape to go down really well. Okay, I think that's probably about it. Okay, this is how it looks. You see that? So we've got some chipping going on. Maybe not quite as much as I would have liked, but it'll work. We can also take the sander, my little gator, and knock some more paint off of it too. You can see some of that brown coming through. And we'll just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. There we go. How's that look? Thank you. Okay, so we need to paint. We're going to paint these little pumpkins. I don't know, Sandra, if you got to see the Dollar Tree pumpkins. This is what they look like when I bought them. There's 5 in a package, and they come on a skewer. And they have that little skewer for their stems. So I took the skewers out for the stems and left them on the big skewer they had. And we're just going to put some paint on them real quick. These are going to be the legs of our riser. And you know what's cool about these risers is you can use them for trivets on your table for hot dishes. I would recommend putting several coats of a good clear sealer on them or varnish. But they would make great trivets besides using them as risers in your little vignettes or displays. Now, I don't care if these are painted really well. I kind of like them shabby looking. So, here's one. And I'll just place it here to dry. Grab another. If I can see what I'm doing, I'm just going from the bottom all the way around, leaving some showing a little bit. And there we go. So if you just came on and you see the live button, that means that we're on live. Later, if you're watching and you don't see the live button, then you're on replay. So please put hashtag replay in the comments so I can thank you for watching me, taking the time to watch my first ever live. Some of these pumpkins had kind of a ridge on them. I think they make them like one half at a time and put them together. So I did, before I went live, I did sand them a little before I painted them brown. Just because I didn't like that line all the way around, but you can still see it a little bit. And it's not really going to matter since the paint's kind of shabby looking on it anyway. I think we're going to be fine. We'll stick that in there. I like to use those little, I don't know if y'all seen these little totes. You can get them at Dollar Tree also, and they're really great for like just putting what you're going to use on your project, and or like I'm using it for a little stand for these pumpkins to dry on. If you're just joining me, I'm Joy from Treasures of Joy. I'd love it if you said hi, and you can come in on your page and just tell me your name so I can get to know everyone and where you're from. Now we got one more foot to do. We're making a pumpkin riser tonight using Dollar Tree parts. I don't always use Dollar Tree parts, but I thought I would do an affordable craft tonight that anybody could make this. Sometimes when you start using molds and transfers, it does get more expensive, that's for sure. And I'm using Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint on everything. And this is Cottage White. They were first everything was painted Java first, which is a dark brown. Then I applied tea light candle wax to parts of where I wanted it to chip. And then I used a 5-in-1 scraper and chipped all the paint off that would come off. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to put these right here to dry. I don't think I need that little... I don't think I need the paint anymore, so we'll take that off. Okay, I'm satisfied with the chippy on this for now. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to paint this entire thing with, I like to use Posh Chalk Pigment Infuser. It's not as thick as Mod Podge, though you could use Mod Podge and do the same technique with it. But this is thinner, and I like it because it doesn't streak, and it's really pretty matte. It's really hard to tell that it's on there. So I'm going to paint the top especially well before we put the napkin on. not as concerned with the sides as I am the top. The top's especially important because we're going to put part of that napkin on here. So here we go. I think we got this covered. And we're going to dry this quickly. Hi, Ben. How are you? Hi, Suzanne. My sister-in-law just popped on. How you doing? Thanks for coming. We're making a riser using a plaque from Dollar Tree and some little foam pumpkins that we painted shabby chic. I couldn't decide if I was really going to come on or not, so I just sort of, yeah, panicked and said, okay, I'm going to do it, and only gave myself a little bit of time to get ready. Thank you for the stars. I picked Friday night. I know a lot of people go out on Friday night, but a lot of us don't have anything to do. So this, that's why I'm on. I thought I might start a sipping craft thing on Friday night. What do you think? You can sip a Coke or whatever, soda. Okay. So the next thing, we're going to take this little piece of napkin that I cut out of these napkins from Dollar Tree. Now, when you use a napkin, you have to remove the ply, and this had 3 plies. The first one came off real easy, and I had a hard time deciding if it had a second, but it did. And so when you do pull the plies off, this is how it should look on the underside. It's very thin, and you can see through it. So here it is. It's tiny. So we're going to lay this on like so. I'm doing it so that the top, this is the top here. So you're looking at what would be the bottom of it. And I'm just sort of tapping it on here lightly. We're going to use an iron and parchment paper. And this is parchment paper. I do it with the wax side down because the wax will accumulate on your little iron. You can use a regular size iron if you don't have a little travel iron. If you have a little travel iron, I recommend you use this so you don't mess up your good iron. Just look at mine. Okay, so that's all you do. And voila. Here it is. You see, it just looks almost painted on there, doesn't it? Okay, so let's go ahead and put another coat over. This is Posh Chalk Infuser, pigment infuser, in case you just jumped on. And that's what I like to use when I decoupage. It's very thin and lightweight. You can barely tell that it's been on there. I found that Mod Podge is thick and leaves streaks, so I don't really like using it, though I do in a pinch. Or if I'm using scrapbooking paper, I'll use it. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, and we're going to go back to our little pumpkin guys. And I like to, I'm not going to paint these like I did do one riser with the pumpkins, and I did a lot of stripes on it, and I don't really want to do that tonight, so I'm going to just use, this is Distress Ink by Tim Holtz. You can find it at Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, just about anywhere. And this is a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. They come usually 1 or 2 in a pack, and that's what I use for putting the ink on. And this is called Walnut Stain. This is the color of it. So I'm just going to lightly go down it and kind of distress it some, as you can see. They dry really well on their own, so I'm glad, because I don't know how well they would have held up to that heat gun had I dried them that way. So here's one, and here's one that doesn't have it. Can you see the difference a little bit? Well, this one's a little bit wet. I'm just gonna roll it around here and dry it off a little, because we don't really care if some of the brown shows through. So I'm going along mostly on the top, you know, like of the ridges. So I'm going along the tops of the ridges here, where it's not in the valleys. That's too hard to get into with this brush. So we just want to add a little definition. Okay. Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you, Sandra. Okay, one more. And then we can put this together. We'll dry that really well, so we can flip it over, and we'll finish it up. I mean, you could stripe them if you wanted to, just using a thin paintbrush, and don't worry so much about it being perfect, because it's kind of cute not perfect. That's how I did the last one I made. And actually one of my viewers bought it, so okay, so we have those little feet done. I'm going to take them off the skewers. Get our little ruler out. Don't think we need this anymore. I'm a very messy crafter, so excuse me. I am going to go back and distress this a little bit after we put the feet on it. But first, I want to make sure it's really dry before I turn it over. So we're going to grab our little what did I do with it? I grab the heat gun and just go over this a little bit. Does anybody have any questions? Now the bottom of this is brown. I may paint the bottom in a little bit, but I don't need to do it on here. Y'all know how to paint the bottom of something. So enough of watching paint dry. I thank y'all so much for coming on and watching. I'm going to lay this on that piece of parchment that we use, just in case it's still tacky. It won't matter. So we'll just lay it down like this. And we're going to kind of eye where these are going to go, and then I'll measure them just to make sure. I like to put the flattest side down, which is the side, I believe it's this. It's the part that didn't have the stem in it. So it would be the bottom. Okay. So I think if I just put these on right, since this has the corners cut off of the edges here, I'm just going to put them there, and I'm just going to hot glue them because they're very lightweight, and I don't expect this to take much abuse. You can use wood glue, but hot glue will work on this, especially since we've already painted it. If you want everything to be precise, then go ahead and measure and make sure you've got them at the same, exactly the same place on the bottom here. This looks good. And that looks good. Okay, so that's how it looks. Now we can turn it over. And look how cute it is. That's our riser. It was a really quick craft too. And you can distress it more, which I'm going to. I'm going to use some more of this brown. And I'm just going to come in and kind of shadow where the napkin went on. Just to add a little depth to it. And maybe just a little up in here. If you already have a sealer on this before you add the distress, or if you use wax, it's a good idea to seal it first, because if you make a mistake or you get too much on, you can always use a baby wipe and wipe that off and start again. It'll come right off as long as you haven't sealed it. And if you don't seal before, it may be into the wood and you may not get it out of the paint like you'd like to. So I try to remember to seal before I do any of the distress inks or waxes. Anyway, that's just my tip. And I'm going to also go along the edges here, add a little more distressing. I don't want it to look real distressed. I like it shabby looking. So. Here we go. That's our finished riser. And this could be used for like a trivet, like a hot plate, or you can use it to make a vignette with pumpkins or whatever you're decorating with. And there you have it. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. Thanks for being patient with me and being on my first live with me. So y'all all have a great evening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. How do I turn this off now?